unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's a final farewell, in a way, for Joe Biden, just addressing the United Nations General Assembly for the last time. And so he's talking about his legacy, and that's really what I see here, zooming out, looking at the big picture of Joe Biden, as he wants history to look upon him favorably. I wonder if that'll happen. But Dan had grabbed a couple of different clips of President Biden speaking.
Yeah, so first off, Dawn, earlier, just last segment, you were talking about these new leaks and Iran's potential role in them and how Trump essentially had the Middle East under control and things exploded under Biden. And he had that botched Afghanistan withdrawal that we all realize was botched. I mean, there's no doubt that was a terrible withdrawal, right?
Yep.
And really, the Trump administration was doing such a better job, but here's Biden in front of the UN taking credit for getting the Middle East under control. Take a listen.
We need to end the era of war that began on 9/11. As Vice President to President Obama, he asked me to work to wind down the military operations in Iraq, and we did, painful as it was. When I came to office as president, Afghanistan had replaced Vietnam as America's longest war. I was determined to end it, and I did. It was a hard decision, but the right decision. 4 American presidents had faced that decision, but I was determined not to leave it to the 5th. It was a decision accompanied by tragedy. 13 brave Americans lost their lives, along with hundreds of Afghans in a suicide bomb. I think those lost lives, I think of them every day. I think of all the 2,461 U.S. military deaths over a long 20 years of that war. 20,744 American servicemen wounded in action. I think of their service, their sacrifice, and their heroism. I know other countries lost their own men and women fighting alongside us. We honor their sacrifices as well.
Wanted to include that just to be fair at the end there, but definitely botched that withdrawal, no, Dawn?
Yeah, and you think about recently as you know, we were commemorating Abbeygate, the 13, and that's the 13 that day. But you think about all the equipment left behind and those killed. The White House, to their credit, for the first time, did release a beautifully written statement that was, you know, online if you wanted to see it. But many of those Gold Star families had even recently in August talked about it, how they felt snubbed by this administration that couldn't be bothered. And then they tried to create that phony, weird controversy that was not a controversy about Trump actually being invited by Gold Star families and attending that wreath laying ceremony. And then they tried to concoct something so that the headlines would be filled with, oh, well, Trump did wrong. No, he didn't. He was invited there. It was respectful. His campaign did nothing wrong. And look back at it. Why aren't they talking about it anymore? Because they know they concocted a controversy and everybody fell for it, which is a shame. I will point out to you that there are, you know, UN, some experts speaking out this morning, pointing to the concern that during this very meeting, the United Nations, what they say, quote, skirting the threats of today by holding this meeting, which is focused on ambiguous concerns of tomorrow. And so what are they talking about, like climate change and other issues? When you have all of these wars brewing, when you still have issues in the Middle East, which we all know, and we're coming up on October 7th, as I referenced earlier in the 10 o'clock hour. But you think about this. The Middle East, it's a hot mess and just bubbling over with now what's
As we
going
look
on.
ahead, we must also address the rise of violence against innocent Palestinians on the West Bank and set the conditions for a better future, including a two-state solution where Israel enjoys security and peace and full recognition and normalized relations with all its neighbors, where Palestinians live in security, dignity, and self-determination in a state of their own.
And so referencing Palestinians, I told you earlier that Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, he will be speaking Thursday afternoon. I believe Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will speak today. He'll get two chances to speak, sort of the Biden darling, so he'll get two chances. But you think about this, as we have Israel's fight against Iran-backed Hamas and Hezbollah, the gang takeover of Haiti. You know, so often you'll hear the media talking about Haitian immigrants coming to this country, and many of them, because they're fleeing a violent, war-torn, which Haiti, if you've been, I've never been there, but I have a close friend that as a child, she went to Haiti because her dad was in the hotel business, and what a beautiful place it is. I mean, nobody would want to leave Haiti in beautiful times, right? In peaceful times, because it's such a beautiful island nation. And yet they've had gang takeovers now. We have civil wars in Sudan and Myanmar. And you think about the violence around the world, not just Ukraine, Russia, not just the Middle East, but it's a hot mess under the Biden-Harris administration. So while the media will focus on some of the more salacious headlines as far as in Ohio or here in Pennsylvania with regard to the immigrants, they never talk about why people are even fleeing these beautiful places in the world to come here and leave their homeland. They would much rather be home. And that was something that struck me during, when Trump won. That was his whole thing in 2016 that Trump said many times. These are beautiful places. The Middle East, by the way, I have my sister-in-law, Kathleen, and her husband, Bill Logan. They spent their honeymoon in the Middle East. You don't even think about that now, but it was known as a beautiful, and it is a beautiful place geographically, but marred by this violence, by these thugs who take some of the most beautiful places in the world and then turn them into terrorist-run places. And so for Biden to try to go back to 9/11 and then try to take credit for this, that is outrageous. Outrageous. Trump certainly was the one who said we're going to end the longest war, we're going to end Afghanistan, but he's also the one who made it clear that if in any way the terrorists did any nonsense, the deal was off. So the deal was set, and with Biden-Harris, they didn't care. They didn't care about the deal. It was botched. We know that from the testimony. How many times have we played that testimony, Dan? It's just, we know from our military leaders it was a disaster, and they warned Biden. That's the worst part of this.
And then also, before we had to break, and our great guest, I want to play back. He addressed, I don't know if this is the first time he's directly addressed whether or not he was told to step down or if it was his choice or what it was, but he did say this in front of the United Nations.
This summer, I faced a decision whether to seek a second term as president. It was a difficult decision. Being president has been the honor of my life. There's so much more I want to get done. As much as I love the job, I love my country more. I decided after 50 years of public service, it's time for a new generation of leadership to take my nation forward. My fellow leaders,
generation.
Let us never forget, some things are more important than staying in power. It's your people.
Isn't it interesting that somebody who has been a career politician for more than half a century, if you count his early days in local politics, it's going on 60 years. So I don't know how you feel about that, but for somebody to say, well, there are more important things, and you've been a career politician for a lifetime, literally a lifetime, nearly 60 years, I think it's a bit of a disingenuous statement. I'm just saying. And I don't believe that this was his idea. Do you? 855-839-1210. Look, we have a great guest around the corner. This is something I complain about all the time, appliances. My husband Larry will say, I want the Trump dishwasher or the Trump wash machine. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm teasing a little bit, but I just want appliances that don't take 3 hours to run and then they still don't work right and then you rerun the thing. So we're going to tell you why it's getting worse, not better. New regulations taking place. We'll have a great expert up ahead. More local issues. And why were they calling the local car meetup here in Philadelphia Project X? And the insinuation that this has become political. So we'll talk about that as well. It seems like Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we're always in the national crosshairs, especially lately. Hey, I appreciate you being here. Dawn Stensland here, along with Big Dan, producer Dan Borowski. We will be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-688-6641.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are having 2 fabulous back-to-school specials. The 2024 S60 front-wheel drive sedan and the exciting electric C40 each can be leased for 36 months for $369. Do-it inception would be a down payment and taxes and registration fees. But in New Jersey, the C40 has no tax. The $369 is an incredible payment on each of these Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo. Our team would be honored to partner with you.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Better water leads to a better everyday experience. With treated water from Martin Water Conditioning, you can experience silky smooth skin, refreshed hair after a morning shower. Your clothes and towels feel softer. They're no longer battered with minerals. Your coffee and teas taste better. Your appliances using water lasts longer. Even before you leave your home, your entire morning experience is improved with better household water. If you want to experience better water, call Martin Water Conditioning 800-887-7555 or go online at martinwater.com.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-3183. That's 800-291-3183. 800-291-3183.
Talk Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You know, I love the Jersey Shore. My husband usually will find a great deal with a house for rent. We'll go down there for a week, bring back the memories with the kids. And one of the things I love about it is that inevitably they'll have a wash machine from back in the day. I know this sounds crazy, but it's like in the kitchen. And right? And this sounds crazy, but I'm like, oh my goodness, this is heaven. The fact that I'm close to the beach and the fact that we can get back, I can throw a load of clothes in and they're done in about less than 32 minutes. And they're clean. They're actually clean because it's an old school wash machine.
Really seems like we've gone backwards, huh?
Yes, totally.
Hey, so on that point, I was just down in Myrtle Beach, and we were at one of the hotels that had one of the, you got to flush it like 8 times to get it down kind of toilets, right?
And that's nasty.
Yeah, well, the thing that people don't talk about with those things is the toilet paper has to be a lot like flimsier to get down there. And it doesn't feel so well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so it's this whole thing, Dawn, I'm with you. When traveling and having different experiences from what I have at home, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and there's a reason for that.
And it sounds like maybe it's going to get worse thanks to the policies of the current administration. We're talking about appliance regulations, even though that sounds boring when we say policy or appliance regulations, but trust me, this impacts you in ways, you're not even thinking of. But you know who thinks of it? Our friend Ben Lieberman. He's a senior fellow specializing in environmental policy at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. And when you think about Ben, he's somebody who you've seen, no doubt, on Fox, CNN, all the, CNBC, all of the different television stations. And you've probably read some of his work in the Wall Street Journal, New York Post, as well as many other places, Washington Post, Weekly Standard. I could go on and on. But Ben Lieberman, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So take us through it, what you're writing about as far as, thinking about something that we use day to day, our appliances. And a lot of these policies will be going into effect. Maybe people don't realize it. Everything from your water heater, your wash machine, dishwasher, even down to light bulbs, things are changing. And maybe this won't be very popular with a lot of Americans once they use these newly more regulated objects. Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, well, this became a much bigger issue last year with the controversy over potential gas stove regulations. And the administration backed off somewhat on that in light of the public anger over that. But just about everything else around the house that plugs in or fires up is also subject to regulations that are already causing problems or will cause problems when they take effect. I think the only good news is that the government isn't regulating televisions. They've left those off the hook, but pretty much everything else is going to become more expensive, not work as well, or possibly both.
And one concern, I think, I'm looking at your list. Number 1, furnaces. Number 2 on the list, you have water heaters. But number 3, central air conditioning units. So can you take me through those 3 first and foremost, because this affects pretty much, most of us. But what changes and when does it change?
Well, for furnaces, a new Department of Energy efficiency standard will essentially eliminate from the market something called a non-condensing gas furnace. That's the most affordable type of furnace in favor of more efficient condensing furnaces. The problem is if you have the old style one in your house, you're probably best off with a like kind replacement rather than switching to the new ones, which has all kinds of installation challenges, venting challenges. So the bottom line is with these standards, one size does not fit all. No two homes are alike. But in order to impose efficiency regulations, we're getting rid of models that actually make sense for especially older, smaller space-constrained home. Similar with water heaters. As of 2029, an electric water heater is going to cost around $950 more, and that's the Department of Energy's estimate. And which those estimates tend to be on the low side. Generally speaking, we're just being forced to use the more eco-friendly versions. The problem is that it doesn't make sense for us. It doesn't make sense for every home. For air conditioners, well, the refrigerant used in air conditioners decades ago, the refrigerants that were blamed for poking a hole in the ozone layer were outlawed. And now there's new refrigerants. Now they're blamed for climate change, and so they're going away. And so new refrigerants that, surprise, surprise, cost more and make the equipment more expensive, they're going to be required starting with new central air conditioners on January 1st, 2025. So that one's not far away. For a lot of folks, there's going to be some real sticker shock when you buy your next air conditioner. And the thing is, it's cumulative. Every house, every room in the house is being hit with something. And just think what this does to things like housing affordability, which is already an issue.
Yeah, and when you think about, and then you go to number 4 and 5, and these are the ones at the top of your list, dishwashers. And this is my beef with the dishwashers. When I got a new dishwasher within the last year or so, you know what they told me? They said, buy a standard one, but buy an extra warranty. It's going to last, give or take, 5 years. It's not like back in the day. This thing, and it's relatively new. Generally speaking, I have to rinse everything off. So you think about waste, and I wish they studied this, Ben, because what happens is you're rinsing everything off in the sink, which is the worst, because you're running all that water and maybe warmer water trying to rinse it off. Then you put it in, it still doesn't get it right, and then sometimes you're rerunning it. So take me through as far as dishwashers and light bulbs, what's happening here?
Well, dishwashers may be the most overregulated home appliance. I count 4 rounds of tighter energy and water use limits, and most recently, the agency has now done regulation number 5. And what's happened to machines, they have to use such a small trickle of water. It takes a lot longer to do a load of dishes, and that's a direct result of these regulations. Back in the day, a dishwasher took about an hour. Now they take about 2 hours or more, and they don't do, as you mentioned, they don't do as good a load. And when you find yourself having to rinse off dishes before or after, what are you really saving? And so it's quite foolish. And what makes me angry about dishwashers, this is one where regulators, if they wanted to do the right thing, they'd be trying to fix the problems caused by their last regulations. They wouldn't just blindly be moving forward with new regulations. And we already know that dishwashers, they don't work as well, they don't last as long, and they take 2 hours instead of 1 to do a load of dishes. With light bulbs, again, it's the same story of just constant rounds of more and more regulations. The old incandescent bulb, that's already on the way out due to past regulations. The new light bulb that's taken its place is the light-emitting diode, or LED bulbs, which I'm okay with. Some people don't like. They do cost more. Some people don't like the light quality. I'm okay with the LED bulbs. Some people are not, but that's already happened. Now there's a new regulation that's going to require those LED bulbs to meet tough new efficiency standards. That will knock most of those off the market and raise the cost of the remaining ones by more than about double. So it just never ends. And the thing is, if you want an ultra efficient light bulb or an ultra efficient furnace, you're always free to buy one. You can always, look for the most environmentally friendly models. But what these regulations do, they force that choice on everyone. And what we're learning is that efficiency is something that can be taken to a foolish extreme, and that's what we get out of these government mandates.
But Ben, when you look at these and you consider, okay, number one, we talked about the fact that all these appliances. Back in the day, my dad talks about this. When you would invest in an appliance, you could count on the fact that it would last a long time, maybe 20 years. And that's why I started out by talking about going to the Jersey Shore. My husband always finds some great deal on somebody's home from back in the day, and they still have the same appliance. that's well over 20. Sometimes it's 30 years. It's still running. They've had it repaired. But nowadays, when you look at landfills and you look at these appliances maybe going 5 years if you're lucky, refrigerators, try to find somebody with a newer fridge that lasts even 10 years. So what happens is they're throwing it out and then it goes in a landfill. So when you look at the total efficiency of it and the environmental impact, I would think, wow, wouldn't they want to build things that last?
Absolutely. This stuff doesn't make sense economically, and it doesn't make sense environmentally when you look at, as you mentioned, appliances that end up in landfills and you have to buy a new one, and there's a lot of materials and energy that goes into to manufacturing these machines. In a nutshell, what's going on is that these products have to become a lot more complicated in order to meet the new regulations. And that means a lot more can go wrong with them, and they don't last as long as the tried and true but simpler designs of the past.
As far as, when you look at, let's say, air conditioning, we hear about the ozone. And by the way, wasn't it healing? Because you think about the history of that the reason we got rid of certain deodorants, spray deodorant, you can't, it's going to ruin the ozone. And then all of a sudden, the ozone was healing. So is there something else going? I mean, I'm all for the environment, clean air, clean water. I'm a member of the Friends of the Wissahickon here locally. Like, I love the environment. I really do. Don't make fun of me. I get the little magazine, and I taught my kids all that, Schuylkill Nature Center. So I mean, I think we all could say we love our environment and making sure that the air that we breathe and the water that we drink or swim in, right, that it's clean. But are these really doing that job? I mean, Ben, as an expert, I'm asking you, are these environmental regulations really doing the job, making a difference for clean air and clean water?
It took me a long time to figure this out, but a lot of environmentalists don't give a hoot about the environment. That's just an excuse for an agenda that actually has very little to do with environmental protection. And that's why we see so many things that don't make environmental sense and harm consumers. No, we're not going to save the planet with newfangled stoves and light bulbs and ceiling fans. It's not necessary. It's not even helpful at all. But it is a major inconvenience to homeowners and a real cost, especially, for example, for people who are aspiring to buy their first home. This just makes it that much harder.
Yeah. Amen. Well, Ben Lieberman, thank you so much. I love, you're obviously an expert, but you put it in the wording of a common man so we can all understand it with all these crazy regulations. Ben, thanks a million.
Well, I'm pretty common myself, but thanks for having me.
Smarter than the rest of us. Ben Lieberman, we really appreciate you. Senior fellow and specializes in environmental policies, really reads through all the fine print that the rest of us don't, apparently, but at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. So Ben Lieberman, great guy, and certainly we'll have him back on again. And we'll see how these policies go. But I love that common sense attitude. I remember my kids in the zoo camp, the Philadelphia Zoo, which I do love, and they went to the zoo camp and they were talking about energy and saving, the animals and all of that. I love that they just said, you know what? You can help out the planet and the animals and yourself if you just turn off the light switch. When you leave a room, turn off the light switch, kids. You're helping the parents pay a lower bill. And you know what? Don't run the hot water. And I love that because I thought, when I was hearing them talking about where they're going to go with this, that's the most common sense we can all do, right? Just turn off the hot water. Don't let it run and run and run, or make sure that you don't leave any lights on. Turn it off. Right?
Yeah, not a big fan of Tom Burnett, are you? From Motel 6, we'll leave the lights on for you.
Yeah, don't leave the lights on. Or as my dad did to my sister when she was a teenager, he found a way to just go down and after he'd time it. 11 minutes. If she went past 11 minutes, that was it. Christine, all of a sudden you hear,
Are you the kind of mom that will turn around if there's a light on upstairs and make the kids run in and turn it off?
Oh, I turn everything off.
Yeah.
And I even, when we leave the house, I turn off the HVAC. Turn it off. Switch it off.
She's the same way.
Right? And then you come back in, it's like either sweltering hot in the summer or it's too. I don't care.
Sylvia over
Shut
on
it off.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Go like and subscribe. Says, wow, common sense. Imagine that, Dawn.
That's what we need more of. I think my dad, Richard Stenslin, he should be in charge of that because first of all, he knows how to fix everything, but he could put it, much like Ben, he can put it all in common sense terms.
Suze makes a great point, too. Says, who needs all this new crap on a fridge? It's just one more thing to go bad, like these smart fridges that you can watch TV on.
Yeah, you had to mention that because, my Larry Menti is going to call my hubby, my better half. I did want one of those. I didn't get it. I lost that vote.
He's on now if you wanted to comment on that.
Hey, Larry Bear, remember when I wanted the swanky refrigerator that we got? What was that, like 2 years ago? The ice maker doesn't work, by the way. It's like all frozen shut. It's such a pain. But I didn't get the screen on there because Larry's like, well, you could just, we could just have like a computer or an iPad or something. Hey, Larry.
Hey, yeah, the new refrigerator stinks. It's awful. You can't even fit enough stuff in it. That was the worst move. I'm so glad you brought it up.
I know.
She really threw herself under the bus.
I know.
Oh, it's horrible. You have to, you can put your lunch in there. That's it.
It is. When we bought the house, there were these Sub-Zeros in there that cost a fortune to replace. And then I was like, we're not buying a Sub-Zero, but they're American made. The thing was like a tank. It was awesome.
Was it a fridge?
Fridge.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a fridge and a freezer.
Betty says on YouTube, I would love an old school 50s cold spot fridge.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know. And the thing is, they took away, they're like, you want us to take this away? Because, they probably took it and put it in their house and fixed it up. So I know. I admit, Larry Bear was right. Larry was right. I was wrong.
Larry,
I fully admit it.
I have clipped that audio for you, and you can use it as your ringtone if you like.
Well, listen, do we have to? We'll take a quick break, and Larry, can you stick around the corner? We also have to fix the signal. It sounds like Larry is calling in from the Jersey Shore. There's like an ocean breeze. So we'll continue the conversation. Appreciate you being here. Your thoughts, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Dom Giordano.
Whenever we talk with someone at these great events, I like to do a little lightning round. Taylor Swift.
Listen, honestly, I think J.D. Vance sort of said it best. When your grocery costs go up by 20%, it hurts you. It doesn't change anything for Taylor Swift. It's not going to stop her from flying on her Global Express all over the world. Yeah, it's just, I don't know that she's in tune. Like, my daughters like her music. Vote based on what you see with your own eyes. The media will tell you those eyes are lying to you, but if I see it, I'm sure you see it.
It's Dom time. Dom Giordano. Weekdays noon till 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Bob Casey supported sanctuary city policies that let criminal illegal immigrants onto our streets instead of deporting them. Casey voted over and over again to fund sanctuary cities, making our neighborhoods less safe. After an illegal alien was arrested for domestic assault in Philadelphia, instead of deporting him, they let him go. Thanks to sanctuary city policies Bob Casey supported. That same criminal, released under the radical policy Casey voted for, went on to repeatedly rape a 5-year-old girl. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. But Bob Casey failed us. The U.S. attorney said this young girl was raped because of Philadelphia's sanctuary city policy. Bob Casey voted over and over for this madness, putting our families, our children, at risk. We've had enough of Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
So we've been talking about all the headlines, whether it's the United Nations, Biden's address, whether it's your appliances and the new regulations, if Biden, Harris get their way. And there are a lot of new polls we've been talking about this morning, new polls indicating whether or not Harris or Trump, who are they making gains with as far as younger voters and which part of the country. So all of this, I did see that Melania Trump had agreed to this interview that will air with her first big interview this election cycle with Ainsley Earhart of Fox News. That'll be on Thursday. Look forward to Melania. Love her. But my better half, Larry Menti, is here, and we were talking about the issues of, energy issues, energy efficiency, Trump, Biden, Harris. Larry Menti is back. Hey, Larry.
Hey, there's a little bit of breaking news. Israel just came out and announced that they killed a Hezbollah leader in those airstrikes in Beirut. They hit the Lebanon capital and killed another Hezbollah leader. So, and the entire time Biden spoke, he didn't say anything about it. Did nobody tell him what was going on? And so he got up and at all talked about a two-state solution while Hezbollah and Israel are trading rockets, and 500 people were killed in Beirut. Biden didn't say a word about it. He talked about climate change.
Yeah.
He talked about 6 times he mentioned climate change. But the guy is, I don't know if it's his staff or it's him, but he is absolutely clueless. It was kind of embarrassing that this was all going on in the backdrop, and he just didn't seem to know a thing about it.
Yeah, and so what you're referencing is they've confirmed this, Israel's military confirming it. They killed Ibrahim Kubaisi, commander of Hezbollah's missile and rocket force. And this is the breaking news of the moment. So thank you for, bringing that to our attention. And then the total, as tens of thousands flee Lebanon's south because of what's going on, that death toll has climbed to 558 killed in these latest hostilities. So
yeah, and everybody says, I'm sorry, but everybody says over and over again, Israel's got it. What are they doing? They're hitting Lebanon. Do you realize since October of last year, there have been rockets fired into Israel by Hezbollah every day, every single day. And now all of a sudden, Israel's got to back off. Israel has to back off. No, but it's a little bit scary, though. I mean, where this is going to head. This is another front in this war. This is another country involved in this war. I shouldn't even say country because we know some people from Lebanon that escaped here, and they're very concerned, I'm sure, about their relatives back home. Yeah. And I don't think it's the people I don't think it's the people or the public government that want this. This is all Hezbollah and Iran.
Yeah.
And Iran. It's important to realize over and over again, this cannot be said enough, that this is because this administration appeased Iran, that this is all happening.
Well, and you heard him say in his speech that, and Dan aired a clip of it, where Joe Biden talked about The Palestinians need a state of their. He was really focusing on them, and I didn't hear that he focused as much on what happened. We're coming up, sadly, on 1 year of October 7th. You think about that with hostages. Hope to God they're still alive, but and you're right, with the media bias, to hear the media report it, it's Israeli aggression. And they don't mention October 7th, what started this whole thing.
Yeah, but it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right. The hostages and October 7th should be at the forefront. But they've been attacked every single day since then. Have you heard about that? Every single day they have been attacked. And they're supposed to just sit there and take it and not say anything? I mean, why is only one side held accountable? I will say this. The Republicans in Congress have been great on this issue. And the other day, Donald Trump said any Jewish American who votes for a Democrat should have his head examined, his or her head examined. And he was criticized for that. That's absolutely true. If they care at all about Israel, they have to vote against Kamala Harris, because this is going to end badly if she gets in.
Larry Menti, we have to take a quick break here. I don't know if you'll stick around for a little longer, but we'll take a quick break. Your calls as well, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
An easterly wind flow will keep clouds and some cooler temperatures around in the forecast. Today, mostly cloudy with a high around 72. Clouds continue tonight with some showers around overnight with a low 62. And a cloudy day on Wednesday, a bit more humid with a few showers with a high again 72.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Look at you. Your life is under control. Errands? Done. Groceries? Got 'em. It's a good time to give yourself a reward. You know the one. Your favorite tasty cake treat. Is it the delicious crimpet or the mouthwatering candy cake? No matter where you are, choose what feels right and enjoy. You've earned it, and you know you deserve it. Tasty cake, accept no substitutes.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano with an easy question. How are your cholesterol levels? Managing healthy cholesterol is a key to a strong heart and overall wellness. For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted ally in helping people reach their cholesterol goals. I've counted on Rescue for years, and with good reason. Their range of supplements designed to meet your specific needs, from omega-3s to red yeast rice and more. Take charge of your heart health today. Use the code DROP at checkout to double your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember to use the code DROP to buy one, get one free on Rescue Cholesterol products. Double up your cholesterol support today. Use the code DROP at res-q.com.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-585-0344. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-585-0344. 800-585-0344. Once again, that's 800-585-0344.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
It's September. It's fall, officially fall, first week of fall, which means, maybe you're going on that fall road trip. You're certainly going from place to place, car line, whatever that looks like. Is your vehicle ready to go place to place? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles are always going to help make sure you and your family are safe out on the roads. These service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers not only handle all your regular maintenance needs, but they also diagnose possible issues before they can happen. Schedule a service appointment online today. Visit my friends at PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com for that dealer nearest you, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, PIA, ZZA, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Latest news headlines. I don't know if you heard, but in Philadelphia, there is a connection being made, they claim, to politics with regard to those car meetups. And that was something that the Inquirer this morning had written about, but it was crazy in Philadelphia over the weekend, and Philadelphia police putting out the word again today saying, we will find you. We have you on video. A lot of these people, hundreds of people from across the city, and I don't know that they were necessarily connected to each other because you had people in the Northeast, you had people outside, City Hall, people Southwest Philadelphia, all over the city in these car meetups, presumably from social media announcements, but it was nuts over the weekend. And some of them dressed in they had Trump masks on. They had these yellow, banana suits on. What is going on in Philadelphia? But there were people who said, oh, this is another blue city, another Democrat-run, defund the police movement city that is seeing lawlessness. So I don't know if you had seen that, but there were some at the GOP level who had pointed to what happened in the city of Philadelphia and said, see, more lawlessness, we need to return law and order, and we need to find ways to recruit and hire back all the law enforcement, all the cops that retired and are still retiring. So it's still happening. We still need to hire more police. You look at that video and then ask yourself, wonder why we can't recruit officers. You see, we had at least one officer hospitalized. We had multiple officers injured, and then police cars. People were jumping on the cars, smashing in the windshield, smashing in the other windows. It was crazy. These are marked patrol units, uniformed officers. You look at that disrespect and you think, would you want this job? Absolutely not. And so that's part of the problem that we face. I know that this morning there was some criticism for Mayor Sherelle Parker. I defended her because, number one, she delegated to, and she did release statements through her deputy commissioners. Dan had, you aired that sound yesterday. But, whether or not you think that she's doing a good job, I think out of all of the candidates, I stand behind my statement. I think she was the best of the pick. Because after all, we could have Helen Gim. How many times have we said, can you imagine that? As mayor? That horrible nasally voice would have been a disaster.
So I got two things for you.
Yes.
So I know we got Larry on the line, so I don't know if you want to go back to Larry, or I do have that audio ready for you of Francis Healy message from Sherelle Parker yesterday.
Let's air it, and we'll revisit that. Go ahead, and then we'll get Larry's take on the other side.
I was asked to come here specifically by Mayor Parker and on behalf of Commissioner Bethel to send a message. The message is this: this behavior will not be tolerated. We firmly believe that the actions last night were in retaliation of the police department's aggressive actions that we've been taking since the Mayor Parker's administration began. So we've been attacking this problem rather heavily every weekend with a large number of officers, and we believe last night was some type of retaliation of sorts. But the message is this, and the message is to the people that are involved in the actions as well as our communities, that this will not be tolerated. The information that we received last night, for those that were involved in it, should be very well aware. We have your picture. We're coming for you. If you think you got away last night, you didn't. Okay, so when you hear that banging on the door, it will be us. We're coming with search warrants and we're coming with arrest warrants. So don't think we're going to lay down and allow this to happen in our city. We're not. And
Tough
that's a message
words
to the police officers out there as well that are on the line dealing with this nonsense.
Yeah, this nonsense. Thinking about the cops, putting them first. And so new information, as they released more information, they said you face serious criminal charges, a $2,000 fine. That's the minimum fine. And they have the right to confiscate your vehicle if you were one of those, doing all those violations that were captured on video. So your thoughts, 855-839-1210. Do we still have Larry? Hey, Larry. Thanks for hanging in.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, two quick things about what you were just talking about. First of all, the cops aren't the problem.
Mm-hmm.
These people will be arrested and back on the street quickly, and they probably will never get prosecuted. So until they change the laws and until they change the DA and his philosophy, and until they change democratic rule in the city, the state, and the federal government, then you're going to keep having crime problems because the soft on crime comes from one side of the aisle. The other thing is, I completely agree with you about Sherelle Parker. She has been such a great, such a breath of fresh air. I'm working up in New York. I rave about her up there. Remember when the embarrassment was happening at Columbia University in New York? Every single day, the inmates took over the prison, and yet down here, all we saw is police in riot gear storming the University of Pennsylvania, and that was done in what, a couple hours?
Yeah.
That was no more problem.
That was awesome. And the Commissioner Bethel, remember, we watched that together. Commissioner Bethel, he was there, and they just were calm. They were calm. They woke him up. They had the surprise, right? Because they got there early. That was smart. But you're right. There was no incident. They just said, wake up, everybody, and move on out. And that was it.
Yeah. And it never happened again. And so that was it. And then you had, you saw on the national news, you saw what was happening at UCLA, you saw what was happening. So yeah, I'm a huge fan. I know she's a Democrat. I don't care, and I don't care what anybody says. I'm very happy she's the mayor.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that that's just it. It's not really about politics. It's more that she has an authenticity about her. She has a common sense way about her, even when she fought to have everybody come back to work. I've talked about that so much at the time that she just said, no, we need to come back to work. And she was so smart, though. Remember, she had food trucks for the first few days, like free food, come back to work, have a celebration. Yeah. Remember that? And it was just the way that she just said, no. I mean, she's kind of like a mom in a way. It's like, nope, this is how we're going to do it. That's what she reminds me of. And everybody just says, all right. And boom, it's done.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how free food works on every employee? It's unbelievable. I mean, if you want to have a meeting, have free food.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to show up.
It's so true. I know, Larry, what do you have Wednesdays, like free? He comes, sometimes he'll bring home, like, look at what we had today. It's like these fish tacos or whatever. It's fun.
Yeah, they have a different restaurant where I work. They have a different restaurant every Wednesday, feed everybody there. And there's several floors that are fed, and they all go line. The problem is, I'm leaving at about the time they leave the food out. There's this long line, so I rarely get it, except unless I'm working later. So, That's the only thing that stinks.
Let's listen. I wish we had that. Let's take, Sal in Malvern has been very patient, wanted to talk about some of the energy policies that we were talking about that are going to change with our appliances. Hey, Sal.
Hey, Dawn, thanks for the call. I got to tell you something funny real quick.
Yeah?
I've never met you before. I never saw a picture of you before, and I was standing a few feet away from you when Doug Burgum was in Chester County, and I'm thinking to myself, I know that voice. And then later that day, I was at the Don Jr. thing, and you introduced him, and it's like, how embarrassing this was. Oh, my God. But anyway, I got to tell you, I was the one that when I brought up in the Doug Burgum thing about the messaging type, that I think our message is so good. And when you were talking about, the Iran thing and the fact that they so don't want him there, I wish that message could get out further because, think about it, right? Here's what Trump had, a wonderful policy that did so many wonderful things, and here's the Biden-Harris policy that wants to do the opposite. And it's like, what do you want with your vote, people? People really need to see what's going on here because, yes, I got to tell you, the one thing is Trump and Harris agree on one thing. She wants to go forward to some autocratic side, and he wants to go back to a strong economy, a strong foreign policy, a strong energy policy. And people just aren't getting it. They're being duped by the shiny little law over here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's so true. And thanks for calling in. It was great seeing you at both of those events. But you're exactly right. They never want to give in the media these perspectives, and that's the problem. I think the media today, if you want to look at a so-called danger to democracy or a threat, people in the media everybody just needs to do their job. And even, I'll give you an example. Even this morning on Kale and Company, we were talking about some of these different policies with regard to John Deere. Trump was here in Pennsylvania yesterday. We heard some of that audio in which he was talking about, hey, John Deere, you better not let these jobs leave and go to Mexico. I did point out that Trump was the one who signed into law, and his idea was to create this great trade deal between the United States and our neighbors, Mexico, Canada. So how does that work if some of those John Deere jobs are now going to go to Mexico? So even though we might, admit who we like, whose policies we gravitate to, I'm not ever going to be dishonest or fact check even a candidate who I like or don't like. I'm going to give you the facts. That's what's real. The so-called mainstream media, who I guess would call me the one that's not in the mainstream, but they don't even do that anymore, some of them. And that's what's disappointing to me. Larry, is Larry still there? Your thoughts, Larry, as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I love that caller when he called in. The one thing that he left out when he was talking about the world under Donald Trump and the world under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the rest of the world, not just America. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you look at everything that's going on, we're looking at the brink of World War III. This is awful. We're funding Ukraine in an endless war, which, by the way, is starting to feel a lot like Vietnam. And we are also now involved in the war between Israel and Hamas. And we have a feckless commander-in-chief that doesn't know what side he's on. He tries to play both sides, and at the same time, he emboldens Iran, who's responsible for the entire thing. So we had none of that. We had none of that just 4 years ago. And so, that gentleman was absolutely correct. And the fact that the world is on fire, too, can be added to his long list.
Yeah, it's so true. Well put. Well, see you at home, honey.
Okay, when we get home.
Thanks for emptying the dishwasher this morning. He's up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. He emptied the dishwasher.
Really? What a guy.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
That's because nobody does it the night before.
Oh, here we go. I thought he was gone.
I left him there for a response. So.
He busted me.
Bye.
Bye, Larry.
Hey, at least he can do something. Ha. See, I said that behind your back. Now he's like, oh, I'll get you. Hey, speaking of home, you've heard me talk about Chapman windows, doors, and siding. Think the world of Mike and Mark Chapman, men of integrity. started their business some 30 years ago in Chester County. And now, they have their family members. Their families have grown. Family members work there too. But by now, if I needed windows, doors, siding, stucco remediation, I would trust only the Chapman family team. What about a new front door? So it's September. We're thinking about the fall. We're thinking about entertaining the upcoming holidays. They'll be here before we know it. Right now, this is the perfect time. Chapman offering free hardware on a brand new front door up to the value of $500 for that beautiful hardware, free hardware on your front door. And think about what a new think about a makeover that front door is going to offer for your entire home. Not just boosting the value, but just it gives you that refreshed, updated look. You're going to love it. So, they have great project consultants, these experienced project consultants. They're going to help you choose that perfect new front door. But if you are somebody you're looking for front door, windows, doors, siding, shutters, whatever that is, call, text. They're listening right now. They're like-minded, 610-431-8898. You can always take a virtual tour, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. I love looking at all the before and after photos. So ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dolan sent you.
Hi, this is Carson Daly, inviting you to be part of Odyssey's mental health initiative, I'm Listening. As a dedicated mental health advocate, it is my great honor to again be hosting this awesome 2-hour special, along with Dr. Alfie and Katie Neal, as we engage in this very meaningful conversation. Connect with us right here for I'm Listening.
Tomorrow night at 7, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 5,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Hill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Discover the all-new 2024 Tacoma at Tri-County Toyota. Right now, get rates as low as 4.99% for 60 months or choose 5.99% for 72 months. Experience the trail-dominating power, legendary capability, and captivating style of the redesigned Tacoma. Tri-County Toyota is easy to find off the Limerick exit of 422. Visit TriCountyToyota.com today for more details. And don't forget, when you buy from Tri-County, you get Tri-County for life.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to JoeConklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to talk about my friend, dentist, and board-certified prosthodontist, Dr. Robert Bentz, and the Bentz Dental Group. With the cooler weather, it's a great time to stop procrastinating. Take care of your dental health. Plus, now's the best time to see a prosthodontist, especially to help with complications as we get older and help prevent major problems. Get the smile you really want. Take control of your oral health. Call the Bentz Dental Group, 610-272-6949. Visit BentzDentalGroup.com.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Don Stensland, weekdays 10 till noon, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
So we've talked a lot about mail-in ballots. We had Linda Kearns on a couple of times and quoting her last week. Remember, we started out the week on September 16th. That was the date we kept hearing. Oh, September 16th, you can vote. And then Linda came on Monday morning on my show and talked about the fact, well, they have to go through this proper process, if you will, to make sure they do a practice and they test it. And they make sure everything is hunky-dory, to summarize it, and then they get the go-ahead, and then the mail-in ballots can go out. And then the next thing we talked about was that, oops, this commissioner in Montgomery County, it's the race to be first, wanted to do the selfie in the little video and say, hey, I'm the first to vote with a mail-in vote here in Pennsylvania. And in truth, I think he was trying to be the first and get his selfie out or self-promotion or whatever the heck what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking, because now there's this lawsuit going on in Montgo where they said, you know what, they broke the law. You can't do that. We just talked about this with election transparency and integrity. And this guy, what does he do? And I don't even think it was criminal. You know what I mean? I just think he really was thinking about me, and my selfie video. That's really what I think. But it was just boneheaded. It's like, don't do that. I know I sound like, but he's like a child.
For real.
Right? He's like a child. It's like, what were you thinking? Stop. So then they do a legal action, and now they're going to have to deal with that one, and they are dealing with it. And truthfully, the reason you're not hearing a lot about it, because I think the rest of the Democrats are going, yeah, boneheaded move. Ding, ding. As my dad would say, ding, ding. But as well, Republicans are stepping up scrutiny in Pennsylvania as far as registering people. We keep hearing this. I don't have the tangible evidence of this, but we keep hearing from people saying, you know what, it's just a little too easy to back end into the license and the registration and the voting, and we got to check it. It's basically a system where it's your honesty that you say, yes, I'm a citizen. So unfortunately, it's I know that the Auditor General, Tim DeVore, he's launching an audit now of Pennsylvania's motor vehicle system, and saying the audit will include checking whether non-citizens are screened out from registering to vote. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that I will not claim something unless I have tangible evidence. That's my whole thing. I'm not going to claim it, but I'm saying good for him. He's auditing the system. Let's see, because we've seen in other states and other municipalities, when they have the audit, they find a lot of dead people. They find a lot of, people who were college students in the area who've moved away. And yes, indeed, they find non-citizens.
Former boxers.
Yes.
Frazier.
Exactly. So let's do I think we can all agree, let's make sure that we have election integrity and election transparency. It's pretty simple, right? It's pretty simple. Let's do it. Get her done. I'm Dawn Stensland. Thanks for being here. Dan, you're the best. I'm so thrilled to work with you, and I'm honored. I get the best of the best.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. And you know who knows that better than anybody? Dom Giordano. Big show ahead. Hey, Dom.
Hey, softball.
Dawn.
Come on, you
Thank
gotta be kind.
There
Come on,
you go.
where's the compliments?
Well, yes, and the Montco guy, Dawn, that's one of my favorite characters. He's day 1 million resisting coming on. He wants to bring, well, maybe not really an ice cream truck, but he wants to drive out to your house to cure your ballot if you completely mess up.
Mr. Softy.
Mr. Softy. Yeah, so we'll talk about him. Ken Burns now, Mr. Democracy, gone off, and Vice President Harris asking how would Trump deport people. That's their line of defense. They know America wants to deport. Now they're trying to attack the mechanism.
Maybe she'd point her little pistol that she keeps in her pocketbook.
Yes.
The imaginary one. Dom Giordano is right now